Hey, AM KBDT proudly presents Life Solutions, coaching, counseling, naturopathic medicine, insights for successful living, and getting better with Ann Beal.
We are here on a lovely day, and I am joined by Dr. Jim Slaughter.
Hi, Ann. Good to be with you today and with all these people.
Thank you. Yes, and I'm Ann Beal, your host. We have a topic that has really kind of been dear to our heart, watching all the TV and everything. And we have a clinics, and we see people who are similar. And so we just wanted to talk to you about something that Jim's mom always told him as he was growing up that taught him an awful lot about life.
Well, and my mom did teach me a lot about life. Of course, there were times early on in my life when I didn't realize what was truly happening, But it came to bear fruit as my life went on and I got older and became an adult. And she gave me a good foundation to build on. But yeah. Okay,
so she taught him to make his bed, pick up his stuff, and just get a hit.
Yes, that sounds a little, it's interesting, but that's what came to mind as I was thinking. And this came about because I was looking at Proverbs 31, and in verses 1 through 9, this is really something that a king named Lemuel, what his mom taught him, the sayings of King Lemuel, an oracle his mother taught him. And I began wondering, what did my mom teach me? What do I remember about the things that she taught me? And the things that came to mind were fairly simple. Make your bed, pick up your stuff, and just get a hit. And we can talk about those as we go on.
Yes, as we see that, what does Jordan Peterson say? Jordan Peterson talks about the importance of cleaning your room. And he says if you want to organize your psyche, you could start by cleaning your room. And so all these people that are angry and sad and nihilistic or fatalistic and chaotic would be a good word. He just says they need to go clean their rooms. They can't even organize a simple section of their home. They can't organize their desk. They can't organize their room. And so he goes back, and as we were talking about, when we started thinking there were two areas in our house that are cluttered, not clean, that really need cleaned, and one is a bedroom, and the only other place in our house that even looks like that is the garage. And we thought about how, as children, by being taught to clean your room, you're taught order, to bring order. You're taught how to tackle something that is hard. It's hard. And through doing that, you learn how to order. You get more competent in how to organize it. And it brings order to your small little part of your life. And that's where you start learning how to become more successful in life. You actually start tackling bigger and bigger things. You tackle a small thing like organizing your room, and then that gives you competence, courage, confidence, and a sense of well-being and energizing to move forward to clean or tackle more things in your life, like to get a job or to send out a resume or to go out and be brave enough to make friends, anything like that. And but you were talking about that you always wanted to do a show, Jim, on what your mom taught you, those three things, because for you, that's what it simplified down to, and those three things gave you a foundation for life that you never realized.
Right, and what we're moving it towards is what you and I have come to call adulting, and I think we did get that from Jordan Peterson. Everybody's quoting him these days, but he's really a good guy and a great thinker. And so, these are the kinds of things that may seem small and unimportant, but they move us into the world of adult thinking and adult behavior, adult living. Thank you. Sure. Okay. And so you want me to just go through some of these and just talk about them? What would you like for me to do?
Well, for your mom, she actually said, instead of clean your room, she said, pick up your stuff.
Well, that's the way I put it. Okay.
Oh, okay.
She would say clean your room, but that meant not just dusting and vacuuming or something like that. It really meant putting your things away. And so the first one I said was, she taught me to make my bed. That is, she taught me orderliness. She was teaching me to be an orderly person.
Yes, she was.
Yeah.
And even though we didn't realize it at the time, and you are a very structured, orderly person.
Well, I did turn out to be that way, and I think a lot of people who learn early to pick up their rooms and to just take responsibility for their stuff tend to end up being that way.
Yes, yes.
So make up your bed. She taught me to be an orderly person. Pick up your stuff. She taught me a sense of responsibility. This is my stuff. It is not her stuff.
Right.
So it's my responsibility to put it where it goes, to make sure that it's up out of the way and that other people don't trip or fall over it or feel that they have to do it because it's not theirs. So she taught me to be orderly. She also taught me to be responsible. And then the last one is kind of intriguing, I think. But one of the things when I was a kid and teenager, I played a lot of baseball and
too.
stuff. And but she would tell me every time she'd come see my games, my mom and dad came see my games, and Mom would just say, "Just get a hit, just get a hit, just get a hit." And what she meant was, don't swing for the fences. Just be consistent. Scatter your hits out into the short field, and you just make a point of getting on base, and you're going to win. You're going to win games that way.
Well, and I did play a little baseball because I had 4 brothers, but I always got put in right field. So in order to or ever not get to play, so if I was ever going to play, I had to play softball. And one of the things that I would get frustrated about is kids that would swing super hard, because if you swing super hard, you're probably going to strike out. You're not going to be able to see the ball as well, and you're putting all that effort. And they would be trying to get a home run, and instead we'd always just tell them, okay. And they were big kids, It took them a while over the years to perfect actually doing that, so they truly could get a home run. And we would just tell them, just get a hit, okay, just get a hit. Don't try to swing for the fences, just get a hit. And so they would get on base and we'd get runs.
Yeah.
And by getting on base, you get runs. And so my goal was always just to get a hit. And then every now and then I'd get a home run, and that was exciting. But I tried to be dependable, and to make sure that I always got hits. And so I most of the time, me and one other player got most of the runs usually. Consistently.
Really? Wow.
Because we always got on base, right?
No kidding.
And I know you and your friend, you usually got on base. You were the 2 leading hitters, right?
Well, the leadoff hitter almost nearly always got on because of some techniques that he had developed, and I was second up, and I almost always was able to drive him forward or maybe drive him in. And so the 2 people who hit behind us were heavy hitters, and they often put it over the fence, and they were able to do that. But we just scattered the ball out there, know. And I came to believe, and I really still do, that a season is successful based on base hits, not on home runs.
Yes, and I think that you learn that over time. I wanted to go ahead and say hi to all our Facebook fans watching. I want to say hi to Renee, hi to Ron. Just, hey, guys, thanks for being on.
Hey, everybody.
And everybody who comes on, we just thank you. If you want to see us live, you can, or you can watch the video later on Getting Better with Ann Beal on Facebook, and then we have it put on YouTube later. And so it also goes on Instagram. And or you can just listen on 1160 a.m. every Saturday at 12.
Yeah, there you go.
Or you can go to bigdtalk.com if you're out of state.
So many ways.
Out of the city, Dallas-Fort Worth, yes. Mm-hmm. And but I do think that those were great things about life. And we were trying to pull it back because you have all these young people, I don't know how you could say it, it's just strange that you see so many politically engaged young people, for one thing, but they're very preoccupied with kind of reorganizing society, right? And even the economic system, they talk about that, right? Like, and they don't know, that's a very complex system. And often we see a lot of the young people today, and their cars are trash. They don't clean up their cars. Their cars are filled with trash, and their rooms are trashed. And they live with all their clothes on the floor, and everything's trashed. And so they can't even bring order to their own little space, and yet they're trying to bring order to our whole society. Mm-hmm. And that's when chaos happens, because they don't know enough to do that. And so, often really we reach out to them and say, if you're depressed or angry or feeling fatalistic or suicidal or any of those things, one of the best things you can do is and that's what Jordan Peterson, who's a clinical psychologist,
right.
And there's a few people that say this, and we truly believe it too. One of the best ways to feel better and to be positive and happy and joyful and feel good about life is to start cleaning your room.
Yeah, that's
it's the
really
best
true.
place to start. And so, you hear people talk about how to change a society. Really, how you change a society is first you have to change the family. And before that, you have to change yourself.
Yeah.
So you've got to get yourself in order before you try to order everything else around you. And so one of the best ways to do that is to just clean your room.
Right.
Right.
And, sometimes when, if a person is asked to clean their room by their mom, if they're a kid or something, it's like the end of the world. Oh, no, I have to clean my room. Oh,
Yeah.
no. And the truth of the matter is, it's such a gift, honestly, to be able to do that. And for a mom to support a kid in building that orderliness into his or her life.
Yes.
And those are the things that I mentioned earlier, Ann, are virtues, orderliness, and responsibility, consistency. Those are virtues. And as we build those things into our lives, as we continue to do what Mom taught us, right?
Right.
And there are other things, but those are things that come to mind. As we do that, then we build self-confidence, we build self-control, and we build self-discipline. And those are the things that carry a person into adulting. If we don't do that, then I'm not sure we've arrived as adults yet.
Well, we have parents with their kids. We have parents that say, the parents will be fighting about one wants the kid to clean their room. The other one's like, we can just close the door. Why stress him out as long as, And a lot of single parents, once they lose the other parent in the home who would say, clean your room, clean your room, clean your room, they felt like maybe the stricter one, right? So that one's gone. What you have is the opposite happens. The child, that mom's not structured enough to require some basic things so that child can learn. And that's what we let them know. Okay, I understand about your compassion about that. They've been through a lot. Why stress them out about their room? And then I go through why.
Yeah, there's a reason why.
Or
right.
them learning basic structure and order and building competence and courage and self-confidence and self-esteem. And it makes them happier in their space. And if you live in a trashy space, it's hard to be happy. Truly happy and feel joy.
Yeah, I believe so too.
You also don't know all the resources you have, and you have incredible resource and incredible potential right around you, but you don't even know it because you haven't organized it all together to use it. Would you say that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And
I know some kids I know it's really the parents, but they'll say that, when the kids were early in their growth and development, very early toddler
Right.
size, they would begin teaching them to pick up their things and to keep their room straight and all that, and they would give some help and all
Yeah.
that. But there comes a time when a lot of those kids, if they have friends over and the friend just leaves something out, say, put that away, put that up, don't leave that out
Yeah.
there, because they've been taught that that's the best and right thing to do. So
yes, and kids can make fun of them. If like I have a family, I would see that they had bunch of kids, and there was one that would clean, that would help her bring kind of order to the chaos because there were so many kids, and she didn't really have kids would come in her room, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And so it made her feel better to clean. And she would talk about that in her own space she had order and peace and calm, right? And it wasn't chaotic. And but the other kids, they didn't understand that. And so eventually through seeing them and her being more successful, right, as time went by, more and more of them started cleaning their rooms.
I do believe that there's a direct correlation between those things.
So if you
orderliness
impact
and
others,
success,
yes,
yeah.
instead of letting them impact you by humiliation or shame or, things like that, it's amazing what you can do. So many are ardent about changing the world while being profoundly neglectful of their own little corner of the world. This
Yep.
approach to life, what we believe 100% is a recipe for angst, okay?
Yeah.
And anger
Severe
and depression.
stress and, discouragement. Yeah.
Discouragement, yeah. And so dwelling on things you cannot change leads to feelings of frustration. And I guess Jordan Peterson would say impotence, being ineffective in the world. You can't affect anything. You can't affect change. And you're neglecting the things that actually you can change that lead to success. Instead, what you're doing is becoming stagnant and kind of in crisis. And we want to really explain to you why you can be so empowered by the smallest kind of things that you can do. And we're going to encourage you to do those.
Yeah.
And so, step by step, number one, Jordan Peterson says, just stop. Go clean your room, right? And so if you only have a space you can start with, like your sink, or some people have sinks in their room, or a little cabinet, or your desk, okay, that's
Straightening a
disorderly.
bookcase, anything like that can make a big
Start
difference.
somewhere and start cleaning that and bring order to that, and that causes momentum and energy
it does.
for you
It
to
does.
move forward and clean something else and change something else.
Been listening to Dr. Wallach, and I bet you have some questions. We want to help, and here's how you can get the answers. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Write that number down and make the call right now. Don't wait any longer to find out how Dr. Wallach's own all-natural nutritional supplements by Longevity can help you. Are you concerned with reducing your risk of heart disease, cancer, stroke, or high blood pressure? Help is available. Do you have arthritis, sore joints, lower back pain, or fibromyalgia? Call now. Dr. Wallach creates his own formulation so you can be sure that what is on the label is actually in the bottle. Whatever your health challenge, make this call. Thousands like you have seen results for a happier, healthier life. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Call today, 800-214-0065. Are you suffering with arthritis or osteoporosis? Do you have diabetes? Did you know that these are just two of the hundreds of diseases that have seen improvement with Dr. Wallach's incredible longevity products? You can't get them at a health food store. The only way to get them is to call us at 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Do you have heart disease, fibromyalgia, or high blood pressure? Do you have a terrible time losing weight? Dr. Wallach can help. He was a veterinarian and cured diseases in animals. He felt that he could do the same for humans, so he became a physician. Over 50 years of research and helping people like you goes into every bottle of Dr. Wallach's amazing discoveries. Do you want to feel better? Learn how to treat the cause of your problem rather than covering up the symptoms with drugs. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. They say we're not getting any younger, but many thousands have felt younger after a few short months using Dr. Wallach's all-natural longevity nutritional supplements. How many times have you said one of these days, I need to call Dr. Wallach and find out what I need? Well, make that day today. Here's how to get that information. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Write that number down and make the call. The information is free and there is no pressure. So do it now. That's 800-214-0065. If you face health challenges such as heart disease, arthritis, diabetes, fibromyalgia, depression, infertility, ADD or ADHD, high blood pressure, or one of hundreds of other diseases, help is available. All you have to do is make the call. You have nothing to lose but the pain and suffering. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065.
Focus on Valor with Jay Seffert.
Today we highlight Medal of Honor recipient William D. Swenson. In September 2009, Swenson was leading a column in the Ganjal Valley, Afghanistan. His mission was to connect with tribal leaders. They were ambushed and surrounded on three sides. For 6 hours, Swenson defended his position, coordinated air support, and repeatedly exposed himself to direct fire to rescue wounded comrades. Swenson responded to Taliban demands for surrender by throwing a hand grenade, an act of defiance that rallied his men who repelled the enemy advance. Aside from saving the lives of many of his soldiers, Swenson is believed to have saved more than a dozen Afghan lives. For his actions, he received the Medal of Honor. Swenson's courage has been in other areas, strongly and consistently criticizing the Army for its leadership failures. As a footnote, Major Swenson is only one of 2 Medal of Honor recipients who remain on active duty. Valor is a gift. Those who possess it don't always know until destiny calls, like it did for Major William D. Swenson.
To admit it's getting better, a little better all the time.
And now here's more Getting Better with Ann Beal on 1160 AM KBDT.
When we're talking about cleaning your room or cleaning an area or a bookcase or something like that, my sense is that if you want to change the world, you want to start with yourself and then work outward.
Well, and that's really true, and that's a key to most kinds of behavioral change. You start where you are, and if you can't do it all, then you do a little bit of it, and that's why you're talking about straightening up or cleaning a corner of your room to begin with.
Well, by starting with yourself, and you build confidence and competence and motivation and empowerment and all that.
Yeah, self-discipline, sure, all those things.
It moves you out to change the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And it gives you a desire to do that, to make a good difference in your space where you are in the world. And so there's a sense in which it tends to build a an awareness of the need for proactivity, to be proactive in the
Yes.
world and not just let the world happen to you. When you have a degree of self-confidence, self-control, self-discipline, those kinds of things, then you're willing to take a step forward and move into your world, and make a good difference.
And you change the world in a good way.
Yes.
Instead of just resorting to changing the world in a bad way. I think that if we all, near the end of our life, when we look back, we want to have changed the world for good or given good to the world, made a difference in a good way in people's lives and in the world, instead of chaos and damage and depression and suicide and harm and all those bad things. And I think that when people give up on they don't know how to get back control. They don't know how to do that, which is why I wanted to do this show, is they don't really know it. I don't think they're doing it on purpose. I just think that their parents somebody didn't teach them, or definitely the teachers aren't teaching them order and all that as much anymore, especially not colleges. They're teaching them a lot of anger and I hate what the schools are doing to the kids because they're getting them really depressed, really angry. They're very anxious, and we see more kids. Almost every kid that comes in now has severe anxiety, and they're not happy, and they're sad, and they don't know how to get happy. They don't know how to feel empowered. They don't know how to get their self-esteem in order. They don't know any of those things. And when you look at it, and you look at older people, and you go in their places, they're always clean. Usually, always clean. And
unless they're just totally disabled and not able to do it. Right,
and they can't do it.
Yeah.
And their attitude, their personality, everything is different compared to the younger people today. And it's all about just being taught when you're young, structure, and how to be, I think, what's the right word? To be able to tackle it and be successful at the smallest thing, and that gives you such a feeling of accomplishment. Then you're competent and not afraid to tackle the next bigger thing and the next bigger thing. So if you skip all those steps and then just try to change the world, you're not effective, and it's very frustrating, and it causes more anger and chaos and depression. And if you look at the statues they're pulling down everything. They don't even know what they're pulling down because they haven't learned it. So they're skipping all these steps because whoever, right? So steps are being skipped all along the way. And I see it in business too. People skip steps in business instead of learning how to really run a good business. They'll just start it without learning anything, right? And so if you back up to simplicity, very simple, that's what we're talking about. And that's why Jordan Peterson says, just go clean your dang room, just go clean
right.
And you'll see.
Right.
You'll see.
It's interesting, too, that when you start doing that on a regular basis, it stays clean.
Yes, it does.
You don't have to keep doing it all the time so much. Just a tweak here and a tweak there. And the truth of the matter is it gives you such a sense of, honestly, I'm saying power when you are responsible for your space and you keep it looking really, really good. And you can put up your pictures, your models, whatever it is you want to do if you're a kid or an adult, and you feel so much better when you do that. So it stays clean.
So we have a listener that's saying, but chaos is also a sign, in some cases, of high intelligence. Einstein was one of those.
Right. And my response to that would be, first of all, that you are right, that there are some people who said that themselves that they were fairly chaotic and everything. But my response would be that is the exception rather than the rule.
Well, but I do think that if they're not a perfectionist, if you're not a high perfectionist, then you don't have that motivation and drive to just start cleaning, right? And that's really, we're talking to you, those people, because most people are not high perfectionists. I mean, you're pretty high perfectionist.
Yeah.
So you have that motivation and drive, and, everybody watches you and goes, wow. And so what they do is these gifted people like that have an incredible memory. They're not perfectionists. They don't have that motivation and drive, but they're so gifted and they have this incredible memory. But because they're not gifted in cleaning, they get overwhelmed. They get anxious. They look at that and they think, oh my gosh, that's hard, which is what we're going to talk about next. Cleaning your room is hard. And that's why by doing it over and over and having your mom help you and teacher, your dad or somebody teaching you, you learn to perfect it. And so we're saying you can start today to become competent in that and perfect it and tackle it. And that's where you need to start to not feel overwhelmed and anxious.
Right.
Stay right here.
Some clod hit your car, causing an ugly eyesore you can't ignore, but you don't want to have to take weeks making an insurance claim to get it fixed. Now what are you going to do? Drive around in a dented car? No! Call Eye Candy Auto Body. Eye Candy Auto Body will get rid of your scratches and dents without forcing you to use your car insurance. Finally, there's an affordable way to get rid of your sweet rides, door dings, bashed bumpers, scratches, and scrapes. Eye Candy Auto Body. Eye Candy specializes in perfect repairs for all high-end models and sports cars, but they'll fix all problems on all makes and models. No auto body job is too small. Eye Candy Auto Body promises factory perfect repairs every time. Fast completion's guaranteed on bumpers, body panels, and other paint-related repairs. Got dents? You need Eye Candy. Got dings? You need Eye Candy. Car insurance deductible out of range? You need Eye Candy. Got a teen driver? You really need Eye Candy Auto Body. Make your car perfect again. Call Melody and schedule your free estimate today. 214-924-0959. Eye Candy Auto Body, 1908 West Mockingbird Lane, Dallas. 214-924-0959.
Unique items for strange times. That's PatriotDepot.com. For instance, when you and your friend are playing your favorite drinking games via social media while listening to Joe Biden babble about nothing, you can win in style with your Trump 45 bullet shot glass and then cope with that hangover by pouring some coffee in your Trump camper mug. PatriotDepot.com is the place to find these and more. Remember promo code USA. They even have the Trump lawn gnome to keep you company. This is the site for all of your favorite MAGA merchandise. So many other exciting products are at PatriotDepot.com or call 844-377-8052 using the promo code USA for a great discount. That's 844-377-8052 or PatriotDepot.com. And don't forget the promo code USA.
How's your golf game? Meet Pat Wheeler, host of Texas Links on the Air.
The thing I love about golf, it's the discussions are never ending. You can talk about anything and it's interesting. The clothes, the courses, the instruction, the equipment, and the people who play, of course. The quote of the year so far, Dr. Lemack said, I'll be 110 days. I think I'll get a Hershey bar and go hit some balls. That's what we talk about on Texas Links on the Air. Don't miss it.
Texas Links on the Air, Saturday mornings at 8 on 1160 a.m. KBD Now. 214-810-8255. 214-810-TALK. Now more with Ann Beal on 1160 a.m. KBDT.
We were talking about the world presents itself in a series of puzzles, some of which you are capable of solving and some of which you're not, right? And I think when we're talking about cleaning and all that, we're talking about those puzzles, the things that you, that whatever it is you can't conquer, and so it kind of overwhelms you, and we were talking about it being tolerations on the break. So if you want to see what we talk about on the break, you can go to our video, Getting Better. We actually have it live, Getting Better with Ann Beal on Facebook, and it'll be on YouTube and Instagram later. But, tolerations do take away our energy and drain us. Things that we go, we should do that. I'll do it later. I need to do that. I'll do it later. And so, it weighs on us. It weighs on our conscience. It drains our energy. And it really causes the question, the more it drains on us, the more it pulls us down, the more sad we get or angry we can get, whatever it is, any of those bad emotions.
Well, we feel bad about ourselves, too.
Yes.
I should be doing that, but I'm not, so I'm a bad person.
And it just kind of snowballs the other way when you're not doing things versus snowballing when you are doing things on the good side. So how much is it leading to kind of sadness, catastrophe, tragedy in your life, right? And I think there's a lot of that out there, and we're trying to help people say, if you just pull it back and you look at ways to get order back in your life and to get good feeling and joy and all those things, it really does boil down to kind of what we learned in kindergarten. Which they're not doing in kindergarten now so much, but they do some. Learn to play with others, put your toys away, organize your space, be nice and be kind, which is kind of what your mom taught you, and just get a hit.
And just get a hit. Scatter those hits out there.
Yeah, because I really, how much are you contributing to the world in a negative way versus a positive way, right? Because of your own emotion, your own energy, and what you're doing with it. And I think that everyone, again, we talked about wanting to contribute in a good way.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's not easy to clean your room. I think it's easy for you. You're pretty amazing, Jim.
Well, it isn't, because a person who really does this consistently and who gets into it, and for me, some might even say I'm a little obsessive about it, but you always find something that's not done right, or it needs to be redone, or something you see that you didn't see before. And so sometimes even for people that it seems easy for, it's not easy.
Yes, I think that's true. I had to follow that. So it seems easy for it. It's not easy. Okay. Well, and you know, if you're someone high in orderliness, right, like you are, you're pretty high in orderliness and conscientiousness, like myself. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you're right.
Yeah, that you're going to find it quite challenging to summon the effort for a task if you're not real high in that, right? Like cleaning your room. I think that if you're high in orderliness, it's not hard for you.
That's probably true. There's a thing that enters into it, though, for people who tend to be kind of perfectionistic about things. Sometimes a person can tend to procrastinate and wait to do things that he sees need to be done simply because he's afraid of not doing it right. He's afraid of not achieving what he wants to achieve. He's afraid of failing in some sense. And so he'll wait, or she'll wait and just let it go, you know?
Yes, and that's where the tolerations come in. You're draining your energy, right? Because you're afraid to start. Because you need it a certain way, right? And I think that's where perfectionists, critics, all those, they can want it a certain way and not have time, or not have enough space, or I need to get some tubs for storage, or some storage for my closet. You know, there's so many things that I have to have everything before I start, so they don't ever start. It's not that they haven't wanted to, but there are some that either don't care, don't see the importance of it, or are content with the superficial chaos of it. You know, like I think that you can become content with that in a way.
Yeah, and this is why we recommend start with one small thing, put one thing away.
Yeah.
You know, whatever that might be, it doesn't have to be big, and just start with one thing.
What if they don't accept it as chaos? They've accepted it, like, until it doesn't bother them.
Well, then what they're doing is they either don't understand, you know, what this can do to us, and some of it is subconscious. Actually, it weighs on us in subconscious ways and in conscious ways, but they're missing a part of life that could be reconstructed and better done if they would bring more order to their will. Now, one young girl, junior high or middle school type person, one time said, you go into her mom and dad went into her room, and you can't even see the carpet, you can't even see the floor because her clothes were everywhere, and they said, what's the deal? Why do you leave it so messy? Why don't you do something? And she looks around and she said, well, I don't know, it just seems kind of homey to me.
Well, and I think the reality is, if we took pictures of your room, would you be okay with me putting that on Facebook? Okay. If you had another room in your house, or if you wanted me to take a picture of your living room, like okay, so truly people say they accept it, but would they want those pictures taken and putting out there where everybody could see them, right? And so I think that if you think of business, okay, they would, when they walked into someone's house or they walked into someone's room, if they're looking at hiring you, which luckily they don't come to your house.
Right.
But that would give them an idea of how good of an employee you might be.
It might.
Okay.
Yeah. Could do it.
But I'm looking more, so I think that would be a symbol to them of like potential of growth.
And, you know, we talked earlier, too, there's potential everywhere.
Definitely.
Yeah, and so there is such potential personally as people grow to the point where they are adulting, as we put it, you know, and a part of that involves taking responsibility for your small space first.
Well, it'd be great to be able to walk in your room and feel so good to be there, you know, to have a better feeling being in your room than you do anywhere else, to be better there, you know, to have it help you be better generally for being there. Does that make sense?
It does to me.
Instead of draining you and making you sad and making you depressed or overwhelmed or fatalistic or whatever happens. How can something as simple as a bedroom have this effect? Do you know?
Well, I mean, it's almost self-evident, isn't it, that, you know, your bedroom is a space. In fact, the Beach Boys even had a song long time ago called
That's right.
In My Room.
That's
It's the
right.
funniest thing, yeah. But it really brings out the idea that our room is our space, and we may have to share it with another sibling or something at one time or another, but there's a sense in which that's our space. And so even a bedroom, you know, has there's an identity feature to it, right? This is my room, this is mine, and I want it to be I want it to be representative of who I am.
Yes, that's so true, right? So you took joy and pride in bringing your friends over to your room.
Yeah.
Or your because so kids would hang out in their room. They didn't want to hang out with their parents, right? They wanted to hang out in their room, and they had all their posters or whatever, all their things that really make it their room, about them. And so many kids now, they don't ever have friends over. And if they do, they're in the game room or something, right? Like, they don't have everything in its place. And I think when you walk into your room, you're either walking into orderliness or chaos, right?
Yeah.
And so
one or the other, or a form of it, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think of it about obsession. I'm really thinking of it more as it's you. If it's orderly, if it's you show who you are, you show the potential for you, all the things you have there, all the resources you have. People get to know you, right? And you, and you know everything you have. So a lot of these people, it's amazing how much stuff they have, and they don't know where it is. But they don't want you to touch their room, right? And so when they start going through it, they're like, wow, I didn't even know I had this, right? And so it's pretty amazing. That's the potential for the future, all of that stuff, all of those resources. And so, I think that helping learn everything in its place as you go from your room to eventually having an apartment or a house, even if it's oh my gosh, if you get a tiny house, those tiny houses, this is the tiny house movement, right? You got to not have a lot of stuff, right? And you've also got to know how to organize it and be orderly in a small space.
You have to create space.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And so, I was telling you, I was seeing all these kind of pictures in my head of furniture that you could store things in to make everything orderly. And so that was pretty cool. And I think our grandparents did that. They had the coffee table that had the record player stereo inside it. They did a lot of things for orderliness in their furniture. We've totally lost that. We don't have that anymore.
Not much, right?
In fact, most people just threw those out. Those are antiques. Get rid of them, right? But there were a lot of things. Even the armoire was another way to hide things in the house, right? Like kind of hang up everything, put it in the armoire, right?
Yeah. Now we just throw everything in the closet.
We do. I think that there is a sense of if you people who kind of embrace chaos, if you start cleaning, they may think that you think you're better than them.
That does happen, actually, yes.
Why do you think you're more important than us? Why do you think you're better than us? It's kind of a weird thing because I'm like, they're just cleaning up. Why is that making them think they're better? It actually helps them feel a little more in control of the world by cleaning their environment. Would you say?
I definitely believe that, yeah.
Okay.
And in some sense they do, have a little bit more control of the world and the world around them anyway. And they make a huge contribution.
Maybe it shines a light on the other person's lack.
I think it does. Yeah, I think in the mind of that person, yeah.
Because, as you see me drinking my mixture here, it actually might cause an emotional response in others because it makes them feel bad about themselves.
It could do that.
And when I was a top athlete, I did not drink alcohol, and it wasn't because of anything else, but it made it harder for me to run the next day and work out and everything. And so I was amazed how many coworkers, when we went out, I loved going out with them. We had so much fun, but it would bother them that I wouldn't get a drink. It would really bother them, and they would go on and on and think, why do you care? Why do you care? So I'd finally just go over to the bar and ask the bartender to help me out, and he'd make me a Sprite and put some little swirly oranges or anything in there to make it look like it was a drink.
Right.
Just so they'd stop. It was the strangest thing. So there's something about that, so people can do that. But definitely getting you to your full potential, you start with, if you want to know how to get there, start with a small space. In your own environment, in your home, in your bedroom, in your, wherever you are, anything, bookcase, you even said.
Yeah, It doesn't have to be a big thing. It can be a small thing, just straightening a little bit here and there can make a big difference. And this is one of the things that I talk to men about when they come in and have real high anxiety and they or low motivation, and sometimes they go together. But one of the things that they can do is just one thing, whatever it might be, something there. And I say, tell me the things you're putting up with in your life right now that you wish weren't there. And so they'll go through things, and often it's something very simple. Well, I've got a license that I need to renew, or whatever it may be. Something on the car needs to be repaired, and I just put up with that. It bugs me every day I go out and have to deal with that. Well, we kind of start there.
Yeah, something small.
What would be the first step you'd need to take to do something about that? Because that's a lot of anxiety that you're putting up with there. and we work something out. And so in doing that, he takes the first step, takes a step forward, and all of a sudden he's not stuck anymore. This guy's stuck. Now he's not stuck. He's taken a step, and he learns what that's like, feels good, feels empowering, and he's off. He's ready to go.
And, if you start in where you stay, like your room, you start there, then when you move out to do those simple tasks from there, you come back to orderliness. So it doesn't drain your energy. And that's one of the cool things about that. But even just starting with a simple task, start with your own life, start in your own domain,
Yeah.
And even your domain of competence, whatever you feel like, as you start doing better at that, you're so empowered to do more and more. It's easy to make a great place to start, and that's what I think. You make a great place to start, so wherever you start, that's the great place that gives you the energy to move you forward, and you can accomplish, if you can accomplish even that, you get the willpower to accomplish the next thing, and whether it be a task or cleaning.
Yeah, it's motivating, and you build momentum. You overcome just the lethargy that's in the stuck place, right? And you begin moving forward.
We also wanted to talk about, just another thing is circadian rhythms, the sleep patterns. Mm-hmm. One of the things that you can do to really make you feel better and empower you more is to get up at the same time every day.
Yeah, have a regular routine. It makes such a difference in a person's life when they're able to do that. This is a problem with people who are on shift work.
Yes.
Because they change it all the time. Their rhythms are changing all the time.
Yes, and just getting up at the same time really helps your psyche a lot because you're regulating those rhythms, mm-hmm. those sleep rhythms, those circadian rhythms, and they actually contribute a lot to your sense of well-being.
They do,
to your health and wellness. And so it's a real simple thing that you can do is whatever time it is that you want that to be, you try to set your clock so you always get up then, and then it fixes the rest of the day's sleep pattern, so you fall asleep. It's more about when you get up, not when you go to sleep. That all fixes down the line. It's harder to do it the other way, which is I need to go to bed by this time, and you find yourself moving, you can't make yourself go to bed earlier because you're not tired or you have these habits. So you have to fix them on the other side, what time you get up.
Yeah, that creates a sense of calm and well-being in us when we're able to do that. So whatever that time is, there's a regularity about it, there's an assurance about it, and so we stay calm.
And it kind of gives you even a spiritual, mechanical advantage, kind of. I mean, you just feel well. You feel better, and we're all about helping you get better. And in this political craziness, that we want you to feel better.
Are you suffering with arthritis or osteoporosis? Do you have diabetes? Did you know that these are just two of the hundreds of diseases that have seen improvement with Dr. Wallach's incredible longevity products? You can't get them at a health food store. The only way to get them is to call us at 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Do you have heart disease, fibromyalgia, or high blood pressure? Do you have a terrible time losing weight? Dr. Wallach can help. He was a veterinarian and cured diseases in animals. He felt that he could do the same for humans, so he became a physician. Over 50 years of research and helping people like you goes into every bottle of Dr. Wallach's amazing discoveries. Do you want to feel better? Learn how to treat the cause of your problem rather than covering up the symptoms with drugs. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. They say we're not getting any younger, but many thousands have felt younger after a few short months using Dr. Wallach's all-natural longevity nutritional supplements. How many times have you said one of these days I need to call Dr. Wallach and find out what I need? Well, make that day today. Here's how to get that information. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Write that number down and make the call. The information is free and there is no pressure. So do it now. That's 800-214-0065. If you face health challenges such as heart disease, arthritis, diabetes, fibromyalgia, depression, infertility, ADD or ADHD, high blood pressure, or one of hundreds of other diseases, help is available. All you have to do is make the call. You have nothing to lose but the pain and suffering. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. You've been listening to Dr. Wallach, and I bet you have some questions. We want to help. And here's how you can get the answers. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Write that number down and make the call right now. Don't wait any longer to find out how Dr. Wallach's own all-natural nutritional supplements by Longevity can help you. Are you concerned with reducing your risk of heart disease, cancer, stroke, or high blood pressure? Help is available. Do you have arthritis, sore joints, lower back pain, or fibromyalgia? Call now. Dr. Wallach creates his own formulation so you can be sure that what is on the label is actually in the bottle. Whatever your health challenge, make this call. Thousands like you have seen results for a happier, healthier life. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Call today. 800-214-0065.
Are you looking for senior care for your mom or dad but don't know where to start? Hi, I'm Joan London with The Place for Mom. Nobody knows your parent or loved one better than you, and nobody knows senior living better than the experts at A Place for Mom. They've helped thousands of families find the right place for their mom or dad.
I was so glad that I called A Place for Mom. My advisor really listened and was truly my partner in finding senior care for my dad. She went out of her way to get to know him as a person and was always there whenever I had a question.
The senior living advisors at A Place for Mom partner with thousands of families every month, listening and offering local knowledge and advice to help find the best senior living communities across the country. And it's a free service. Here's the number.
Call A Place for Mom at 1-800-370-2715.
There's a place for answers, A Place for Mom. Call today.
Call A Place for Mom at 1-800-370-2715. That's 1-800-370-2715.
To admit it's getting better, a little better all the time.
You're getting better all the time. Now, back to Ann Beal on 1160 AM KBDT.
We were just talking on break about how our parents really helped us just to know how to clean things up. And I find it interesting. I've had people say that they feel like we're kind of back in kindergarten in a way. You know, like we're back in kindergarten because we're having to have people, okay, you're not being nice, you're not being kind. Oh, pick that up, clean that up. You know, if you break it, fix it, you know. Why are you being so rude?
That.
Why are you being so harsh? Go sit in the corner, right? Yeah. I had someone earlier today say, go put your nose on the wall, right? That's what his kindergarten teacher made him do when he behaved badly, right? And so it's just clutter and chaos and messiness and rudeness and disrespectfulness. And people are picking it up. I mean, these are people that I really liked and enjoyed and everything, and they can just be so horrible. And I love what Dr. Menrith taught me when I was interning with him and then worked with him. Mm-hmm. He was the world-renowned psychiatrist. And, you know, the man had so much money. But this is the thing for him. He said, Anne, remember, be kind. Be kind. People flew in to see him from all over the world. Okay? He was famous. He was wealthy. He had everything. And yet he had 5 wonderful daughters. I mean, just a wonderful man. Godly man.
Genius, too.
And then he would, and he was in Mensa. And he would say, but remember, be kind. And I feel like it's totally lost. People don't care about being kind. People don't even care about being nice. And that's why people are saying, it's almost like, and that's why I was thinking it too, that we need to go back. It's like we're in kindergarten. These people haven't learned some basics about life and how to do it and how to be successful. And, you know, the media to me is leading that a lot. All the media. I had someone say, oh, you don't like blah, blah, blah. And I never said anything. I just said media, okay? I mean, like all media, like what? And it is. And I think that they tend to embrace all of it. And so we're here to say, you know, just be responsible for yourselves and make a difference. If you can't clean up your own room, this is Jordan Peterson. If you can't clean up your own room, why the hell are you giving other people advice? Right? That's what he'll say. If you can't get your own space together, if you can't get your own room together, you know, your own life,
then what advice do you have for other people?
Yes, yes. Right. So my sense is if you want to change the world, start with yourself and work outward from there. And then you build your confidence that way, right? And people follow you because they admire what you've done there and they have respect for you. right? And you conquer what you couldn't conquer that made you so angry or frustrated or irritated or whatever it is, or sad. You conquer the things that you weren't able to conquer, whatever those were.
Right, that's
and
where the
get rid of that
self-discipline,
angst.
that virtue comes in. Yeah.
So you just start there. If I don't know, my opinion, how are you going to go out and protest the structure of the entire world when you can't even organize your own space?
Right.
And I'm a math major. I'm really into structure and strategizing, and and I know what it's so important to be able to structure your own world or your own life or your own room or your own space if you're going to change structure out there. I'm preaching. So I'll go to you, Dr. Slaughter.
That's a pretty good sermon. No, how do I follow that? The thing is...
well, you are an anger and stress specialist. And
yes.
so you are such a calm person.
Well, that may be something that my dad brought into my life. I haven't talked about him yet, but my dad kind of brought the concept of working hard and also just being a patient person. And there are times when I'm not. I get it. That's true. But overall, I think I am a fairly calm person. And usually that's because I take my own advice. I do for myself. I use techniques for myself. I arrange my space, care for my space the way I suggest to others that they do. And when I follow my own advice, I do really pretty well.
Well, and so let's just tell you what you can do about it. Okay, so every time you walk in your room, place one item back where it belongs. Start there.
Good.
One item. Start simple. Write down what happens as a consequence. And you can. Just see how you feel. Right? Put one item back where it belongs. You could use an anxiety or stress scale, to see if you feel better. But this is what I do every day, okay? I just take things and put them back. Now, I used to kind of come back and just drop them in my room. You're laughing because I've learned. Instead, I take my shoes all the way to my closet. I stop. I hesitate. No, stop here. It's only a few more feet to my closet. It's only a few more feet to my shoe shelf, right? And
you're doing so well with that.
And so... you see that this picks up emotion, momentum, you feel better. How do you do everything? It's how you back up and do anything.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You complete it. You put it in its place. You put it where it goes. My parents, my dad might have said, you do it right. I can hear my granddad, you do it right.
Do it right the first time. Right?
Yeah, and so don't do it halfway. Don't be lazy. Just make yourself put it away. Start there, and you'll be getting better every day. Come back here. We'll pick this up next week.